What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and I love you all. I love each and every single one of you. These are the days. These are the moments. It is this exact moment. Remember this moment. If this moment was one of those little light bugs, I'm sure there's a scientific name for them, but you know what I'm talking about, and we could capture, we could bottle it, we could put this moment. This is that moment that we think of. These are the moments when we are pissed off, when we are down, when we are mad, when we are frustrated, when we are sad, when we are apathetic. These are the moments that we long for. These are the moments that we chase, and to be able to share them with all of you, I'm so inordinately blessed. My name is RJ Ochoa. This is my postgame show. You can stream this live in the Bleacher Report app or on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, like the video. I wasn't going to tell y'all, but I'm on cloud nine, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I don't like to say these things because sometimes schedules change, and let me say that schedules are always subject to change. But we are currently on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel this week scheduled to have DeMarcus Ware and George Pickens. So make sure you subscribe, dare I say, and sound like the ultimate content creator. Smash that subscribe button. We are scheduled to have those two interviews. Really looking forward to that. But right now we're scheduled to talk about the heroic, epic comeback win the Dallas Cowboys had against those fraudulent Philadelphia Eagles. 21-0. And let's be straight up. Hands up in the air, all right? I doubted. We all doubted. We all thought it was over. We all thought that this thing was just going to lead to a horrible Thanksgiving week, and that we were just going to have to hear a billion different things about how the Cowboys sucked and how the Cowboys were this and then the Cowboys were that, and we were going to be the ones saying it. I mean, and look, the Cowboys pulled off this comeback, but they dug the hole. The only reason you can pull off an amazing comeback is if you dig that hole in the first place, and the Cowboys did, but they deserve full and total, unequivocal credit for rallying, for never saying never, and just pulling this off. And look, the Eagles helped them, right? This Eagles offense, I mean, holy crap. And like, not that it's DeMarcus Ware, George Pickens, but also scheduled to have a live NFC East mixtape this Tuesday with Brandon Lee Gott, my Eagles counterpart here at SB Nation. Cannot wait to talk to BLG about all this, because those Eagles, man, they have to be hating life right now, and I'm so happy that we're a part of it. Can you think of what school is going to be like at that elementary school on Monday with those kids that were punching the bags that had Dak Prescott's face on it and George Pickens' face? I mean, I really feel for the kids. I really do. But man alive, what a just amazing comeback. I see on YouTube, Seer 5570 says Pickens has to be signed, and sorry, CD, but he has to go. Too many drops for a number one wide receiver. It is completely and totally true that CeeDee Lamb had I would say a bad game. He had some bad moments. I think he had an okay game overall, like from an aggregate standpoint. But man, I mean, just the drop touchdown, obviously after the special teams fumble recovery on third down before the Cowboys went for it on fourth down, didn't get it. That was a tough scene. This was one of those games that took a million different things for the Cowboys to win, right? You think about it, this game required obviously the touchdowns to be scored and obviously the Brandon Aubrey game winner, but it required the Saquon Barkley fumble. It required the Jake Elliott missed field goal. It required the fumble on the punt return. It required the Eagles not getting obviously a first down near the end. It required, and I don't mean to just hate on the Eagles as if to take away credit from the Cowboys defense. This Cowboys defense really balled out. And look, if you are someone who said after Monday night, and I understand why you were, but if you're someone who said, oh, the Cowboys defense played well, but it was just the Raiders. Well, you can't say it was just the Eagles. And you can to a certain degree, because the Eagles offense has been very, very, very questionable all season long. But the Cowboys defense deserves their props. They deserve their kudos. They deserve their attaboys. Everyone involved. Again, it was one of those wins that's really satisfying because it was a total team effort. It could not have happened if not for every single part of the Dallas Cowboys team, which is why these are the type of wins that just make you feel so warm and fuzzy inside. Jonathan on YouTube says, Dak franchise passing leader. We would be remiss if we did not mention, in case you did not see it, with his first pass of the second half, Dak Prescott became the Dallas Cowboys all-time passing leader. And for those of you who have spent many hours on the internet hating on this man, I don't know what it was, but I hope you came around, because Dak Prescott sits atop the Dallas Cowboys franchise record books. That doesn't mean he's better than Troy Aikman or Roger Staubach. Nobody's going that far. I'm not even going to launch a debate as to whether or not he's better than Tony Romo. What I'm going to say is what is objectively true, in that Dak Prescott has thrown for more yards than any person in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. And what's more, think about it. Like, these are the types of things that we remember, right? These are the types of memories that we hold near and dear to our hearts. We will always remember the day that Dak Prescott became the Cowboys' all-time passing leader. Was the day that the Cowboys came back from a 21-0 deficit against the Philadelphia Eagles. How freaking cool. Like, how awesome that is going to be the case, that Dak Prescott holds that record, that it happened on that day, that it was right before Thanksgiving. And I'll go ahead and go as far as saying this, that it was on my son's birthday eve. My wife and I, my family and I, we had my son's birthday party on Saturday. So it's been a very busy weekend in my household. If you have kids, you know how that type of thing goes. He's turning 4 years old on Monday. To my son, Daddy loves you so much, more than anything in this world. You have made Mommy and I just the most blessed people in this world. I know this show's about the Dallas Cowboys. I appreciate those of you who have been with me for so long and were around when he was born, and remember that he spent 2 months in the NICU, and God bless all the NICU nurses and doctors and people who care for those children. But I'm just so blessed to be a dad, and blessed to be his dad, and blessed to be my wife's husband, that my heart is just so full. And these are the types of things, right? This is where football and sports, marry with our lives and personal experiences. And that's why Thanksgiving is such a fun time, because it involves family or whatever you're doing, friendsgivings, things like that. And so this is that type of win that just makes you feel something different. And I think that we all kind of feel that way right now in the aftermath of it. Winning is a powerful thing. And we're going to feel that boost, obviously, into this week. And dare I say, if the Cowboys win on Thanksgiving against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes' first ever start at AT&T Stadium, with the whole world watching, all the people who wear, I love to talk about, the foam Cowboys hats will be out and about on Friday afternoon. It'll be a tough scene for many Black Friday establishments. On YouTube, Shane says, Lamb's got a mental lock going on right now. I'm not, advanced enough to have any kind of take on that, but I do think that CD is definitely playing differently. He certainly, I saw Jeff Kavanaugh, the great Jeff Kavanaugh, from all over the place. Everyone go subscribe to Kavanaugh's YouTube channel. Tweet as things were kind of happening that he doesn't seem to be playing with a lot of confidence right now. I think that that's a pretty popular take, obviously, and I agree with that. It does not feel like the same CD Lamb that we've grown accustomed to seeing for so long. On YouTube, Scott says, gotta love seeing the Eagles choke one away and the Cowboys taking it. They really did. The Eagles gave the Cowboys every single opportunity that they could to take this game. And so that's wonderful to see. Thank you to all of you, by the way, in the comments for wishing my son a happy birthday. I'll be sure to tell him on Monday morning when we get him up, and take some cupcakes to his school. Looking forward to that. Let's see here. Leande 2294 says, was waiting for your video. Yeah. A lot of you were in the chat wondering where I was. Just how the sausage gets made around here. Sometimes when a game is pretty well in hand, it allows us to get a jump on some things, rather you can kind of get some stuff ready. But in a game like this, where everything is down to the wire, you're not able to do anything. And so you really do, as soon as the whistle blows, got to run to do 500 different things. So apologies for getting here late, but thank you to everyone who hung out here. Let's see here. Andre says the Cowboys choked it right back a few times. The Cowboys did what they could, obviously, to make sure that this was stressful. I will say that if you like entertainment, if you like any kind of entertainment, the Dallas Cowboys are for you, which is why we're all here. Topher says, it feels so good. Felt like we had so many mistakes. Usually we don't get these games, but the defense helps so much. I agree. I mean, I think we say things sometimes, right? Like we say things like, oh, that never happens to the Cowboys, or that always happens to the Cowboys. And that's how we speak as fans. But this was one of those games, and I'm certainly curious if anyone disagrees. This win against the Eagles, this was one of those games where, where the script writers just said, you know what? Y'all we got you. Like don't worry, we got you, because it felt like at every moment where the Cowboys finally had a chance to get a forward foot, they just couldn't, or, they couldn't convert, or CeeDee Lamb had the drop, or, they missed it on fourth down, down near the goal line. Even early in the game when they didn't get it on first down, it just kind of felt like, man, they just could never, they just kept going 99 yards and not that last one until the very end, until I would say that big conversion, down the stretch to Jake Ferguson. I think that's when we all finally breathed a sigh of relief. Like, this is really going to happen. This is finally going to happen. This is the one. They're going to go that 100th yard. So I don't know what this, certainly suggests for the future of this season. They're 5-1. I don't think anybody's making it about anything more than that, but they have won 2 in a row. They have rallied from, if we're just talking about football, a position where the whole world, most of us included, counted them out. And they've obviously, and this, there's nothing about football about this, but they've been dealing with personal tragedy in the middle of it all. And so I think that it's very easy to come away from what we've seen from the Cowboys over the last 7 days now and really respect their leadership, really respect that, they've been able to navigate the most difficult situation possible for a group of people. Again, the results don't matter relative to that, but they certainly have had some impressive performances where you look at them and say, wow, you guys, you were the right people to be in charge to figure this out. And not that they have figured it out. I think it's an ongoing process, but I'm really proud to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, despite the fact the way the first quarter in this game went. Steve says the defense saved this game. Whoever thought we would be saying that? Yeah, I mean, the offense was part of what dug the hole. They just couldn't get going early on. And I think that we've all talked about for a long time. I know I've said in different shows and things like that, you look back at the Denver game and the Arizona game and the fact that the Cowboys in Denver had to settle for that field goal on that first possession, and against Arizona had to settle because they didn't get anything. They went for it on 4th down, and so they missed those early opportunities on offense. And then the defense collapsed, and then they're down 7-0 or 7-3, whatever the case may be, and they're just chasing, pressing, and it's just, you're never flat-footed. Forget forward-footed. You're never just even caught up to a moment where you can begin to contemplate how to be in the fight, let alone win it. And so this was a game that was kind of that same ilk. And the defense said, you know what, offense, we got you. We'll take care of things. We'll handle business. Yeah, we'll allow a couple of first downs here or there. And when it gets super stressful, we'll find a way. We'll shout out Sam Williams. How about Sam Williams has taken a lot of heat on the internet, and I'm not here to fight this one way or the other, but Sam Williams, I would argue that was maybe the biggest game changer. It's easy to point to obviously others that felt bigger, but that was the one where it felt like the Eagles, they were still somewhat in control and finally going to go back and take the lead after not scoring the entire time after putting up those first 21 points. Sam Williams really let all that air out of the balloon with the forced fumble on Saquon Barkley. So he deserves a lot of props for that. Stock up Sam Williams in my book. I haven't written my stock report yet, but he is certainly going to be on that list. I mean, Elijah Clark, holy crap, the footage, the video of him just getting pushed and tossed around and just hustling. I mean, that is teach tape, right? That is something not just for football, but that is teach tape for life. You just keep going and rallying and fighting and scratching and clawing, and soon enough, your moment will hit. And when you're ready, you're going to make that moment count, and everyone around you is going to benefit. And that was just a really awesome thing to see. Shout out to Little Buddy 8175 on YouTube. Thank you for the super chat. Says amazing. Got to watch with my boys. Peter and Derek knew it all along. Big win. It makes Thanksgiving that much more tolerable. Let's go Cowboys. And again, that's what it's all about, right? Like this is a unique week. Nobody knows this week like we do. I will understand that Detroit Lions fans do to a certain degree. I would argue it is a little bit different, but whatever. We're not here to do that. And every year, there's obviously different teams that get to experience a Thanksgiving game for some time. But whoever you are, if you're someone watching this video, whether it's live or after the fact, first of all, please subscribe on the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Follow me on social media. The links are down in the description below. But if you're someone watching this video, you get it. You understand your life for Thanksgiving has obviously revolved around this team. You've told your grandma, your mom, your aunt, whoever it is that you spend Thanksgiving with, whoever cooks the turkey, whoever's doing this, whoever's coordinating, whoever's setting it up, you say, please, we just want dinner to be over by 3:30, 4:30, wherever you are located, obviously. We just need to have the TV within vision, right? Like you've made some concession or some adjustment or some whatever because that's the holiday. It's the only holiday where we all experience that, we all understand that, we all get it. And so getting this win off of the Raiders win on Monday night, riding into Thanksgiving week is just a really, really fun thing, and I think we're all excited about that. Bleacher Report, Fuerte Ace is carne asada going for in Cali after the Cowboys win. That's awesome. Enjoy for me, please, my friends and brothers. Cabana Boys says, first and goal, 4 straight passes. Boys have a habit this year of doing this. Run on those goal lines. Come on. Look, there was some comments. I missed them. Obviously, there's a lot happening right now. The Cowboys, we have rightfully, I think, given credit to the Cowboys defense for helping save the game against Philadelphia, helping win the game, obviously. And while I certainly think that Dak Prescott deserves a lot of credit for what he did and George Pickens, and we'll get to him in a moment, but Javonte Williams and the ground game in general, I know that Javonte Williams gets a lot of the headlines and understandably and deservedly so, but how about Malik Davis, my fellow Florida Gator, Malik Davis? The Gator boys stay hot. He was awesome in this game. Malik Davis just kind of chipping in at the right moment, the just kind of right guy to spell Javonte, the right burst, the right speed, the right flash, the right juice at those particular moments. I certainly have some issues and some takes and some thoughts on Brian Schottenheimer as an offensive play caller at times this season, but he does seem to have a great feel for when Javonte is necessary, for when Malik Davis is necessary. Obviously, a lot has been made about Marty Ball, and not even Marty Ball, but Brian's time not running the Seattle Seahawks, but running the New York Jets and the different running backs he worked with there, LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Green, et cetera, et cetera. So he does seem to have a very good feel for that part of the game. But Javonte Williams and Malik Davis deserve a lot of credit. There was a stat floating around right here. Let me pull this up. This is from the Dallas Cowboys PR department on social media. They noted this 21-point come from behind win for the Cowboys against the Eagles. Let me remind you, in case you didn't know, the Philadelphia Eagles blew a 21-point lead to the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to say that in case you didn't hear. The Philadelphia Eagles blew not just a 21-point lead, a 21-0 lead against the Dallas Cowboys, the team who their elementary schools are making all these dummies to punch around. The Philadelphia Eagles blew a 21-0 lead to the Dallas Cowboys on the day that Dak Prescott became the franchise's all-time passing leader. And while they were wearing their precious Kelly green jerseys, you really just absolutely hate to see it, don't you? Anyway, but this 21-point come from behind win for the Cowboys, shout out to Dallas Cowboys PR, was tied for the team's largest comeback victory in team history. And the reason I brought this up is the game it's tied with was September 21st of 2014. That game took place in St. Louis against the Rams. The Cowboys also obviously fell down 21 points. And very notably in that game, if you recall, I know we have some younger members of the audience, but if you followed the 2014 Dallas Cowboys, well, first of all, your heart will never be the same. But that being said, that was a very special win because that was the win that kind of propelled that season. There were a lot of wins in 2014, but it was that game where the Cowboys, even when falling down 21 points, did not abandon the run. They stayed committed with DeMarco Murray at that point in time, and it was obviously a part of how they were able to come from behind, get the win, et cetera, et cetera. And again, it was because they did not freak out. They did not react. Part of the luxury of falling down 21 points early in the game is that you still have so much time. You still have so much clock. So you're not in a position where you have to pass. You have to press. You can run the ball. The Cowboys did run the ball and very effectively in this game. You think about it, at the end, Javonte Williams ended with 20 carries for 87 yards, 4.4 yards per carry. Malik Davis, the 3 carries for 24 yards. But they came at the right time. They came at the right opportunity. They married everything together as the passing game was figuring things out. Things were tense there. How about Brevin Spann-Ford? We haven't even talked about him at this point in time. Brevin Spann-Ford having his first career touchdown, an amazing moment for it to come, obviously. He was awesome. He was amazing. That was such an incredible moment. He deserves all his props. He deserves all his flowers. Get him a game ball, get him a game hammer, whatever it is. I mean, he deserves some serious kudos. Man, Luke Schoonmaker, that pass would have been awesome if he'd been able to catch, but just a little bit too far beyond his reach. I do think we have to have a conversation. Slick Nick on Bleacher Report says, how sweet it is Philly can continue to be a high school drama. I'm totally cool with that. Seeing if I'm missing any quotes from anybody relative to the Cowboys. No, nothing from Schottenheimer, nothing from Jerry. I think everything is pretty standard at this point in time. I don't think that what I'm about to say is going to be controversial in any way. It is very rare that someone, a human being, can say a sentence on the internet and expect it to be received with 100% agreement. But this is one of those things. The Dallas Cowboys should give George Pickens all the money. All the money. Blank check. Let him dive into it like Scrooge McDuck. Let George Pickens have all the money. I don't want this team to play the dumb franchise tag dance with him. I want them to take care of this extension ASAP. Get it done the beginning of the offseason. Get it done on Monday. Get it done before Thanksgiving. Slide it in there with his, turkey plate. Like, get George Pickens a lifetime contract with the Dallas Cowboys. He has become the most important player on offense. I did not like the trade at first. I'm well on record with that. I've obviously been wrong. I'm very happy about that. But I think even if you're someone who believed in the trade, even if you're somebody who was pumped and excited, there were obviously a lot of people. I don't think there's anybody who foresaw this. I don't think there's anybody who saw that he was going to become this he is the offense. He is the magic element that everything kind of orbits around. That just like, he's like Flubber. You know what I mean? Like he just is just perfect in every single way, and everything that comes into contact with it is better as a result. I actually don't really remember the plot of Flubber that well, so I hope that analogy works. But he is so important to this offense. And that doesn't mean that other players aren't important, but George Pickens is so critically important to this offense that you do not want to get into any drama. You do not want to play any games. You just want to get this taken care of and move forward and move on with your lives and have everyone be happy. It's simple. Do it. Give them all the money. Boom. Done. Lock it up. Take care of it. I have spoken. Anyway, on Bleacher Report, CC Cyprin says, I agree. Throw the bag. He'll catch it. He will absolutely catch it. There's zero doubt about it. In this game, if you're curious, George Pickens finished 9 targets, 9 receptions, $146 and a touchdown. $146 and a touchdown. I had a stat this week that I looked up this past week after the game. I want to say that he had, don't quote me on this, I will definitely look it up on Monday when I have some time and everything, but I believe that George Pickens is now tied for the most games in Dallas Cowboys history in a season, single games in a singular season, with having at least 140 receiving yards and a touchdown. I'm very certain that he had 3 games of such kind prior to Sunday afternoon, and that Miles Austin in 2009 held the record. He had 4 games of such kind. So I believe that Pickens is tied. Don't quote me on that, but I know I wrote something about that this past week. YC on Bleacher Report says he's a beast. He's fine. BB on Bleacher Report says CD said these are playoff games. They need to play like that, but then he goes and drops multiple critical balls. Look, the vibe is so great, and I don't want to say the vibe is great so we can't talk about CeeDee Lamb and the critical moments that did not go his way. I don't mean to just sweep those under the rug because they matter. So I want to say the vibe is great. Let's celebrate, but certainly that's a real thing. And I don't know what the fix is. I don't know how to fix that. I really don't. And I think that if I have to attribute it to anything, it's that he missed time this year. That would be my most logical reach, right? Like if I am trying to diagnose why things are so left-footed for CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys right now, and to be clear, they sound so left-footed, like everything is broken, and he's having some bad moments. I'm again not glossing over them, but he's also not like catching 2 balls for 6 yards in a game. Like I would take 2025 CeeDee Lamb over 2025 AJ Brown in terms of production. That being said, I don't know what it is. Is it that he missed time? Is he just not in a proper full groove the way he was in 2024 after missing all of training camp? That's my best guess. That's my most logical guess, my most logical take. But it's certainly something that I think we would all like to see figured out sooner rather than later. That goes without saying. It's a weird thing. On YouTube, S. Dean says that George Pickens has gotten in his head. I don't want to go that far. Again, there's no need for us to do that. There's no need for us to say this or that or whatever. But Jonathan says Detroit struggled today. Looks like that 4-game win streak seems more possible. Got to beat Kansas City first. So let's talk about this relative to this game in the aftermath of the Cowboys beating the Eagles. And let me rephrase that for you. The Dallas Cowboys won on Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys won on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who accused all of us as Dallas Cowboys fans, their fans did, of treating this game like their Super Bowl, yet they were the ones who were talking about it all the way and having elementary schools do whatever. I mean, this and that. But the Philadelphia Eagles made this game the most important thing going on in their lives, and they blew a 21-0 lead. T's and P's. That being said, the Cowboys won. The Cowboys have won 2 games in a row. The Cowboys are 5-5-1, and the Cowboys are now set to host the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day and visit the Detroit Lions 7 days later on Thursday Night Football. My opinion, all right, I said this on Sunday before the Cowboys-Eagles game started, was that the Cowboys had to win 2 of their next 3 games, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions. They have now officially won 1 of them. So if they split the Chiefs and Lions games, they will have accomplished that particular task that I assigned to them. If they're able to do that, then they have to win 3 of their final 4 games. All right. So say they do what I just said. They win 2 of their next 3, or 2 of the 3 they're playing, if you count the Eagles game. So they win 1 of their next 2. 3 of their final 4 would be 3 wins against the Vikings, the Chargers, the Commanders, and the Giants. I think we're all, all due respect, although some disrespect, willing to give the Cowboys the wins against the Commanders and the Giants. And I don't know how you can't give the Cowboys the win against the Vikings the way they're playing right now. And that would be 3 of the 4, right? If they're able to pull off a 4th, or they're able to beat both the Chiefs and the Lions, nobody's going to turn that down. And to be clear, in case you haven't done the mental math, that would put them at 9-7-1 on the season. That may not be good enough. I understand that. That may not be good enough. But if we're marrying realism with optimism, with likelihood, and looking at the middle of that overall Venn diagram, I think this is how the remaining 2 months-ish are going to go. And if they do, they will have a puncher's chance. And given that they were 3-5-1 at one point in time, you sign up for a puncher's chance 100 out of 100 times. On YouTube, Jason says, let's go Cowboys. Very simple. I respect that. D-Day2 says they need to go 5-1 the rest of the way. Only way they have a chance. I think they have a chance if they drop a second, like I just said. I think they can finish 9-7-1 and have a chance. But I certainly agree with you that if they were to win more games than I'm saying, that would give them a greater chance. Obviously, that's just math. Let's see. Caleb says if the Vikings keep JJ McCarthy out of the field, they may not win another game all season. Yeah, I agree. Sear says, imagine if Lamb hadn't cost us opening night. We will look back on moments. I understand that. I think that the season, if it winds up being lost or however you want to put it, I think the games that will have defined this season were the losses to Chicago, where the Cowboys were a road favorite, Carolina, where the Cowboys were also a road favorite, and Arizona, where they were favored, albeit at home. Those were 3 games where they were favored. They were supposed to win. They did not. This game against the Eagles, they were home underdogs. And so we've talked a lot about how you dropped some games that you were supposed to win. You were already going to have to go steal some games that you were supposed to lose. The Cowboys did that on Sunday. The Cowboys stole a game against the Philadelphia Eagles that they were supposed to lose. And before they were down 21-0, they were home underdogs for this game and then fell down 21-0. But those fraudulent Philadelphia Eagles just blew the whole thing, blew a 21-0 lead. Super duper embarrassing. I don't know how they can even, deal with this at this point in time, but whatever. That being said, they have now stolen one. You got to keep stealing, right? You got to, right now, you can't get caught. You got to steal one from the Chiefs. You got to steal one from the Lions, maybe. And other than that, I don't know that there's another game that the Cowboys are going to be underdogs in. They will probably be. I haven't looked yet. Let's see here right now. Let me pull this up. The odds for Thanksgiving may not be out yet. Let's pull this up while we're all here in class together. They are not. Oh, they are. I'm sorry. Excuse me. The Cowboys, again, they were 3.5-point underdogs against the Eagles. This was when odds first opened after the Cowboys beat the Raiders. The Cowboys are officially 3.5-point home underdogs against the Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day. That's chalk. That makes sense. I don't think any of us have any objections to that, just based on literally all facts. They will probably be underdogs on the road against the Lions. That's chalk. That makes sense. We won't have any objections to that either from a practical standpoint. But after that, the Cowboys host the Minnesota Vikings. They will probably be favored in that game. The Cowboys then host the Los Angeles Chargers. It may not get to 3 points, but they will probably be something like 1.5-point favorites in that game. Then they visit the Commanders, and they will probably be favorites on the road. And they visit the Giants, and they will probably be favorites on the road. This season is now coming down in terms of if things go chalk afterwards, these next 2 weeks. If you can win these next 2, if you can get to, December 4th or whatever it is, there's December 5th. The Thursday night game is December 4th. If you can get to December 5th without losing a game, you seriously might have a chance. You could win out at that point in time, or you might just drop one more, right? There's a lot of ways to look at this, and that's just kind of what this all ultimately comes down to. Brian says, got to go. Happy Victory Polo Monday. That's right. Tomorrow is Victory Polo Monday. If you have a Dallas Cowboys polo or a t-shirt, you want to paint your nails, wear a scarf or a hat, whatever the case may be, put it on, take a picture, selfie, and tag me on social media, and we'll share it because it's the best possible day that there is. 3J says, we will win all 3. Write that down. I want my props in 2 weeks. 3J saying the Cowboys will move past the Eagles win and then beat the Chiefs and beat the Lions. Look, it's certainly more believable to say that right now than it was Sunday morning, right? Or Saturday night, or on Monday when the Cowboys beat the Raiders. The Chiefs did win on Sunday, but they certainly looked beatable, although they looked tough because you could argue they were playing the Indianapolis Colts, who are one of the better teams in the NFL. And the Lions looked really bad against the Giants. They did pull off that win, and they deserve credit for that. It took going to overtime. Imagine being a silver and blue team and needing overtime at home to beat the New York Giants. That would be super embarrassing. That being said, they did win, but they looked really, really bad. And they were losing for most of the game, but they did rally and win, obviously, when it mattered the most. Relevant says, how is Turpin getting more snaps at wide receiver 3 than Flournoy? Really, does anything good happen when Turpin is in the offense? He's a gadget guy. That's it. I do think we should mention this, certainly before we get out of here. The Cowboys had Jalen Tolbert as a healthy scratch in this game. He did not play. He was inactive. That seemed as if there wasn't enough proof to this point, obviously. And I say this with all due respect, like the most, significant sign that Jalen Tolbert will not be playing for the Cowboys in 2026. But you would think that would have promoted to the point Ryan Flournoy to, wide receiver 3 duties, wide receiver 3 snaps, wide receiver 3 opportunities, whatever. And Kevontae Turpin's, fumble wasn't as a wide receiver. I I, I go a little bit back and forth. I'm kind of okay with the handoff just because it could have worked out. It's like I did not have an issue with the CD fumble against Chicago that led to the injury. I was not mad about. I'm still not mad about that. And just like, let me say this now, and maybe you have changed your tune because the Cowboys won the game. It was totally fine that Brian Schottenheimer went for it on fourth down in the first possession of the game when the Cowboys did not get it. That was super duper, totally, absolutely fine. The Cowboys at that moment in time, who would have known that the defense would go on to play such a critical role? The defense did lock in, but after obviously with everyone else surrendering 21 points to Philadelphia. That being said, I will live and die by the offense for the Dallas Cowboys in 2025, a million out of a million times. If you told me that the game was on the line and I could only have one play to define it, whether it was the offense to pick up 10 yards or the defense to stop 10 yards, I would take the offense a million out of a million times. So I'm very comfortable with the fact that Brian Schottenheimer said, you know what, we're going to go for it. This is that kind of game. We're home underdogs. We're a 4-5-1 team at the time. We're against an 8-2 team at the time. Let's go for it. Let's try. That's not gambling. That's playing with conviction. That's assessing the odds and understanding that you're going to need as many points as possible. And I'm very okay with that. It didn't work out in that moment, but I hope he holds true to that conviction and that disposition moving forward, not just in 2025, but for as long as he's the team's head coach and offensive play caller. Irrelevant says, we are in love with Turpin speed, but the guy has brick for hands. I wouldn't know about, I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't go that far, but I certainly get it. Steve says, use Tolbert as trade bait. The trade deadline has come and gone. I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. Okay. The Dallas Cowboys won. It was awesome. It was amazing. It was theater. I mean, it truly was theater in the most incredible way. And I hope that you enjoyed every single second of it. I know that I did, and I'm super pumped. It's going to be a very busy week. If you're on the Bleacher Report app, make sure you go subscribe to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, obviously make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you follow me on social media. The links are down in the description below, so you get notifications and alerts, and you just get updated on every single thing. The schedule, things are subject to change. This happens a lot. People, professional athletes and famous and Hall of Famers get busy. But we are scheduled to have on the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel this week, and it's a very quick week because the Cowboys are playing on Thanksgiving Day, scheduled to have DeMarcus Ware and George Pickens. So two different awesome interviews available for you. Really looking forward to that. Assuming everything works out, they are scheduled to happen. So fingers crossed. You'll also have a conversation between myself and Brandon Lee Gowden, who covers the Eagles. And so he will come on here and he will make excuses and he will cope and it will be awesome. And you can enjoy each and every single second. You'll also have constant communication and thoughts from me as we move forward in the week to Thanksgiving. And then on Thanksgiving, after the Dallas Cowboys beat the Kansas City Chiefs, we'll be live for another Dallas Cowboys postgame show. So lots of fun things happening this week. I hope you're part of the journey. I also hope that whatever you're doing this week, if you're traveling, if you're moving around, if you're hosting people, if you're cooking, if you're picking something up, if you're spending Thanksgiving doing something alternative to traditional norms, if I don't see you, if I don't talk to you, if I don't get to speak with you, I hope and pray health, wealth, and happiness for you and the special people in your lives. Thank you. The time of year to give thanks for giving me some of your time. I understand that time is the most precious resource that we can have in this world, and I'm eternally grateful that you give me some of yours. I say this often, and it is true. It is as true as it has ever been. My high school version of myself would never believe that people on the internet wanted to hang out with me and talk about the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm so grateful that you all are those people. And again, as we get out of here, my son is turning 4 years old on Monday, and I just can't believe it. I'm most thankful for him. That's not a grammatically correct sentence. I'm more thankful for him than anything in this world. My wife and my son, they are my reason. They are my why. They are the most important things to me. And my heart is so full, and I'm so proud to be my son's dad and so proud to be my wife's husband. And I'm just very grateful for God's blessings in my life. And I hope that you have some going on in yours too. So I can't wait to talk to you throughout the rest of this week. I hope it is kind to you, and we will see you then Monday, Victory Polo Monday. Can you believe the Eagles blew a 21-0 lead? Those losers, those frauds. It must suck to be them. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you next time.